Hi everybody, I'm Harry Hruska. I started Precision Distributors back in 1987 to support my racing habits. I raced probably until 2006, last car I was in a circle track car. So I raced road racing, turbocharging, did fuel injection. Started out with fuel injection really for the first 7 years and then moved into turbocharging. And this film for our last 30 years is some snippets of the past and a lot of good times. And if you have a minute to watch, have fun. And I think that one of the things that when I look back on the history of Precision Turbo is that it's very gratifying to work with people over many, many years, over 15 years.
Yep.
And every year you have the opportunity to do something better. You've learned so much. Look what you know today versus 15 years ago and what you do with it. You know, what we're able to do with the products, and it makes me feel good every day, you know, that our customers are getting products to meet their expectations or even exceed them, and that's cool, and that's really our legacy is staying with it. So I just personally thank you for all your hard work.
Man, it's my pleasure, and it's great to work with you guys because you've always been dynamic. No matter what crazy thing I bring to the table, even when we go run a world record, you know, like say with that import car.
Mm-hmm.
As fast as we've been, I'm coming back to you going, hey, is there any way to make it better? And I don't just get oh man, you've got the best there is. You guys are always trying to find a way to improve, which I really appreciate because obviously everything progresses forward when we push the limit of everything. So.
Well, and working with people that understand racing, that know what racing's all about, there's never an end to it. It's what we have done well, but what can we do better?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the exciting part of working with guys like you. I think you took a leap of faith, you know, going with a program with me, and you know, we did pretty well with that Mustang.
We did really well. We did really well it was really a fresh thing for all of us, the team, you, myself, and it was. I felt from the day you called me, it was a recipe for success, and I feel like we did succeed at a lot of things with that program.
And are you talking about the silver and gold, like the silver and purple Mustang?
No, we're talking about the red Mustang with the white stripe.
Oh.
2012.
The Pro Mod.
The Pro Mod.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Make sure you mention it.
Oh, the 2012 Pro Mod.
The 2012 Pro Mod.
You know, and we did that the hard way because we actually started with a 485-inch motor instead of a 526, which we could have by the rules, and we still won a race with that car.
Yeah.
So
that was my first Wally.
Yeah.
So.
That was really cool. Years, you know, Mike, you always had projects.
Yeah.
You always had, you know, whether it was the guy up north doing the cylinder head castings or you know, like
we had stuff going on, and you were always there helpful. I could always call Harry. Harry, look, here's what's going on. I need this. What can I do? How do we make this work? And you always had some little piece of the pie that we could make and fit in there. And then occasionally I'd get a box out of nowhere, and Marianne says, "Did you order another turbo?" I was like, "No." And what is it? I don't know. I go, "Harry, what is this turbo? Just put it on your car."
Well, you know, but the thing about growing business-to-business relationships and kind of growing up in the world is that we're always looking for something more.
Right.
You know, and one of the things that you helped me learn in the early days was that we always had to turn ourselves over. We always had to have something new.
Right.
Because Mike was forever the marketing guy. We got to have something new. And to this day, I still preach that. I say we got to reinvent ourselves every 3 years.
Right, you do.
But somewhere in there, you did this deal for Jesse James for the hydrogen engine.
Yeah, the turbo hydrogen engine, which I struggled with on the dyno some, and you helped me on the dyno until we got to the power we needed.
All right. That was a couple.
That was a few burned up brain cells. Figuring that out.
You know what? When a guy calls you up and says, "I want to put a turbo in a car and I've got to have zero back pressure or zero heat in my exhaust," I'm like, "This is going to be a real good challenge, right?" Because that's just not turbocharging. But the fun thing is that we were able to work together and try a couple different things and have an open mind, and eventually, you know, you got the thing out there on land speed. So how fast did he go?
He went 199.7. BMW had won 186. Motor Corporation.
So a good record to have.
Yeah, it was a cool one.
That's a cool project, though.
Piston powered, yeah.
I won a lot of races as a small tire guy, but I knew the future was to put twin turbos on a car, go big tire, and you know, here I am, you know, one of the fastest guys, you know, on the street
Yep.
and at some of these no preps. I've done really good at these no preps, and you guys are right there backing me. You know, I started out with a couple 76s, you know, and now we've upgraded. You know, we've got some 82s on it now. So I'm showing the world what a small block and a couple little turbos can do, you know, on the right combination.
Well, you know, so then Randy takes the car to St. Louis, and what happens? Now, this is a car that just barely runs 790. So Randy just takes the dial on the boost and does what?
Well, depending on which time it was, we ended up, eventually the car ended up running like a 710 or 720 at 199 mile an hour.
Yeah.
We were going to run 200 at Columbus at the NSCA race in the final round. I wanted to run 200, but the car I was running against, he red lit and ran on out there a ways and then just started slowing down. So I was afraid to do 200 with him doing about 40 in the other lane. But the car ended up being pretty fast.
Yeah, that was really cool. That's a great story because no one really knew how much Randy had everybody covered.
Yeah.
Now, things are a little more competitive these days, but back then we had it pretty well handled.
Well, Nat, I remember you saying one time what a turbo competitor hated to see was his competitors with the turbo.
Yep.
Because that just made competition that much tougher, but it made it better, as evidenced by how much things have progressed over the years.
I remember going out to Vegas. We had your car, twin turboed V6 Buick, and we went out to a race out there. I remember, what was the name of that racing body there? They had a shootout, like a shootout at sundown in Vegas.
Right. Yep.
And you were matched up with who? Racing.
Yeah, Racing Jason.
Racing Jason. He had a V8 twin turbo Duttweiler motor, you know, rag top car,
Yep.
and we're gonna go out there and get our ass beat. What happened?
Yeah, well, just the opposite. Yeah, we ended up doing real well there and set some records, and it was a great event.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. You know, there's Pete hauling out his little trailer out there, and go out there and kick their butt in front of everyone, and it was just like shocked the world. And then, of course, they wanted to. I remember in St. Louis, I think it was 3 years ago, you guys were trying to build Boost.
Yep.
And at some point, you'd had an engine failure.
I know where you're going.
And I don't know when that failure was, but I know that my name in that pit was not Harry.
No, it was pretty well mud.
And so finally, I got the opportunity to come on by because for whatever reason, that thing wasn't going to make Boost. And what happened, and Bob, I think, was kind enough to take the turbos off so we could just take a look inside. Because it just had to be something.
Like, come, I said, Harry, please, we can't get this thing to work at all. Can you just please come look at your turbos? Okay, I'm going to come look at you. And again, just like before, he saved the day.
I just thought it was a banana up the tailpipe, right?
Yeah, and that's almost what it was.
But instead, there's some big old goober.
Yeah, we had lost it. We had broke a valve, and somehow or another, that exhaust valve got lodged inside the turbo housing, and no, it's not going to build Boost.
You know, I love these stories because I was there firsthand. Didn't you win a championship with that Buick?
I won an NMCA World Championship in 2000.
And that was a single turbo car back then?
Single turbo V6 Buick, yeah.
That was like 80 millimeter back in the day.
Exactly.
Big 80 millimeter.
That's a good memory. We try to make an 80 millimeter old technology spool.
Yeah.
Back then that was a real challenge.
That was crazy.
Yeah, we worked with a lot of different stuff with you.
You know, and I've been to Puerto Rico, and I know it's a very small world down there. Everybody knows everybody. And one of the coolest things I thought about being in that country is how driven they are for racing.
Yes,
how many of the people in that country go to the racetrack, percentage-wise, versus here in the U.S. I mean, a much higher percentage. And everybody knows everyone.
Yes, and just being by 100 by 35. We got a lot of racetrack. We got a lot of dynos inside. We got some of the fastest rotary cars in the world.
Oh, absolutely.
And six-cylinder import cars in the world.
Yep.
So, but all powered by precision, of course.
Well, we appreciate that very much. I remember one story at World Ford Challenge, and I thought you oiled the whole car with WD-40. How did that go?
No. What happened? They were going to interview Chris Derrick? Chris Derrick.
Oh, yeah.
And they said, everybody with a red shirt on, get behind the car or work on the car. I looked down, I was wearing a red shirt.
Here we go.
I jumped off my four-wheeler, and they got the camera like this, but I'm in the background, and I'm spraying WD-40 in his turbos.
Yeah.
You got a kick out of
Yeah,
that.
that was a great video. But those are good times, but we had a lot of fun. And then your twin turbo car, the guy set some world records, and championship runs.
Yeah, we've had a real good run.
We have had a great run, Mike.